Hi and welcome back to my channel, Mum of Wildlings. I hope you're all having a great day. I wanted to make this video because I have been asked a few questions about my health and my health problems. So some of you might know, if you follow me on Instagram, that I have a chronic health condition that I've had all my life, and I suffer quite badly with it at times. So I thought I'd come on here and make a little video about it. So I have joint hypermobility syndrome, which isn't to be confused with just hypermobility, which a lot of people think it's the same thing, but the syndrome is like all the pain and all the things that go along with that, whereas hypermobility is just having flexible joints. It is also more like today known as Ehler's Danlos syndrome, hypermobility type, so EDS. It is a connective tissue disorder and it's a chronic illness. It tends to get worse. You can do things to improve the severity of the condition and things, or prolong you getting worse and things, but the sort of general rule as it does get worse as you get older, especially for women, and definitely for myself. I found that when you're pregnant it gets worse and you don't really recover the same. So for me, it first started when I was way younger and in primary school, and I fell every single day. And that's not, well, actually not every single day, because one day, I think it was like near the end of primary 1 going into primary 2, I didn't fall that day, and the teachers actually marked the occasion by giving me a gold star for not falling that day. That is how much I fell. So the school referred me to the physiotherapist, and my mum took me up, and that's when they discussed like hypermobility and hypermobile joints and things. Basically my joints were all too loose, so when I was like running and playing and things, there was no stability like in my core and my knees and my ankles. So like my knees and my ankles would just turn in on themselves and I would just trip up and fall, and that happened every day. I was covered in bruises head to toe. Every picture of me when I was younger, I'm just absolutely covered in bruises. But there was no kind of follow-up. It was just, well, the thing is as well is years ago there wasn't a lot known about it, whereas today it is getting there, like information's getting out there more. So there was no kind of follow-up. It was just kind of general advice: make sure I take my time, make sure I try and strengthen my joints, and that was it. Just left, and I definitely suffered with it throughout childhood. I remember crying anytime we'd have to walk anywhere because my knees would hurt so bad, and I think at the time my mum didn't really realise how bad it was, or that it was an actual real thing. So she'd just be like, come on Hayley, like stop being slow or stop being lazy, but I was in pain. And I remember like back to when I was like 8 and feeling beneath like my kneecaps and how it felt like it was grinding and my hips were grinding, and yeah, it was not nice, especially not when you're young and everyone around you is very active and things like that. And that continued on to teenage years, and the same thing again. My knees were sore. I started getting a lot of back pain. I was on my feet a lot, school and college and things, and I really started to struggle with my back and like my elbows and things like that when I was sleeping. But I didn't really know anything about it, and I went to the doctors and they just told me it was growing pains. And for years that's what I got told was, oh, it's just growing pains, it's just growing pains, it'll go away, eventually it'll go away, and it just never did. Then finally, when I was about 20, a doctor said, right, you shouldn't be still feeling this amount of pain at this age, so we're going to refer you to a physio and see what's going on, see what they say, and if we can help you out. And then it was when I went and seen the physio, she said to me, because I didn't know at this point that I'd seen a physio when I was like younger and that they'd mentioned hypermobility. I didn't know any of that. So I just went, explained my problems and things, and she checked me over, had a feel of all my joints and things, and that's when she said, I think you have joint hypermobility syndrome. Here's some strengthening exercises. Go back to the doctor. I advise pain medication. This is what you should be taking, kind of thing. So that's what I did. Went back to the doctor and they started giving me, I think it was naproxen at the time. So naproxen and cocodamol, and then just kind of left me to it again. And then I fell pregnant with Lucas, and the pregnancy was tough. I had the start of pelvic girdle pain. I had a lot of pain in my hips, in my back, my legs, my knees. I remember actually when I was about, I think, 8.5 months pregnant, me and Derek went to IKEA and I couldn't walk. Like, I was trying to hold onto his arm, hold onto the trolley. I just couldn't walk at all. I was in so much pain. But I thought that was normal because I didn't have any other pregnancy to compare it to. And I just thought, well, I'm pregnant. It'll go away after I have the baby. So I had Lucas, but the pain didn't completely go. It eased up, obviously, because I didn't have all that weight and pressure and things on my joints, but it never went. The back pain that I developed during pregnancy, like the severity of it, stayed. And I still had a lot more pain in my hips and my knees than I had had before. And that continued to get worse and worse. And I was back at the doctors and they were just giving me stronger pain medication. And then I fell pregnant with Ethan. Now, with Ethan, I had pelvic girdle pain, or SPD, symphysis pubis disorder, really badly. And I ended up on crutches. And then when I had him, because he was an emergency C-section, they gave me strong medication and that really helped it. So they kept me on that. So I was on strong pain meds and struggling. Yeah, I had 2 babies obviously then. And the doctor referred me to see a rheumatologist. So this is when I was about 23. And I went and seen the rheumatologist and he said, okay, I will formally diagnose you, which I didn't even know was a thing, and that was with joint hypermobility syndrome. And he said, or it's EDS, hypermobility type. So I was glad to at least have a label on it and be able to research it more, because up until that point I hadn't really took it very seriously, I don't think. And the rheumatologist advised different painkillers again. So I think I don't actually want to talk, I mentioned some pain medication, but I don't think I actually want to talk too much about pain medication on here, just because it's a touchy subject, isn't it? But basically I was on anti-inflammatories, I was on like painkillers, and then I was on, I think it was some kind of medication that's like it can be used for antidepressants and things, and it was just trial and error, and they called it my little cocktail of drugs. So I was on that and I was just taking them every day because that's what they said to do, and the pain wasn't quite as bad, it was manageable, and that's what I needed with 2 children. I was still in pain every day, but it was manageable pain, whereas there was days that it just wasn't manageable before. There was days that I really, really did struggle. But the problem is I started to struggle with the painkillers. Started to take a reaction to them, and anytime I was taking the strong painkillers, it was like I was getting pain in like my gut, like my sort of chest, top of my stomach, and it was horrific. I felt like somebody was crushing me and that I couldn't breathe, and it has come on in big waves, and honestly it's one of the sorest pains I've ever experienced in my life. It was sorer than like going through labour completely. So went to the doctors and they said, okay, so take this to help your stomach. So you take these pain medications to counteract the side effects of these pain medications and line your stomach. And that helped a little bit, but not much. So they upped my dose of that and upped my dose of that. And then they had to take me off my anti-inflammatories because I was getting so much pain with it, and they thought that's what's causing it. So that went on for a while, but I was still getting the pain and it was recurring more and more and more. So then I had to stop taking the strong painkillers, and then it got to a point where I couldn't even tolerate paracetamol. And in between all this kind of happening, I fell pregnant with Oliver. Now, Oliver's pregnancy was hard, just like the older boys. My SPD, pelvic girdle pain came on quicker than it had. I think with each pregnancy it just does develop quicker. So back on crutches with him, back at physio. Physio was kind of like, can't really do much for you. I had like big brace belts that went around my hips to keep my hips in place because they were just coming apart. I remember the physio saying like my pelvic bones, they should be like kind of like interlocked like that, and mine were like twisted and like back and up. So every time I was walking, my pelvic bones were grinding, my hip bones were grinding. It just wasn't nice at all. And then I had Oliver, and the relief that I got after I had him was amazing. I felt so good compared to the pain I had just been in. And then very quickly I fell pregnant with Millie. And in between this time, I kind of had to stop taking pain medication, obviously because I was pregnant. Although through some pregnancies I did have to still take the painkillers because I just wasn't coping. But it reached the point where my stomach just couldn't handle it anymore, which was tough because Millie's pregnancy killed me. Like, it was awful. I really couldn't handle it at times. Couldn't handle the pain. I couldn't turn over in bed. I couldn't get up out of bed properly. I was forcing myself to have good days, and then I was like bedbound for like a week afterwards. I actually ended up in hospital the week before I had Millie for about a week, just because the doctors were trying all different kind of painkillers, just because I was bedbound and they wanted me to be up and mobile. I wanted to be up and mobile. I wanted to enjoy my last couple of weeks with just the 3 boys before Millie came along. And in the end, they ended up bringing her C-section forward, so I had Millie at 38 weeks. And again, the relief I had afterwards was amazing, but I've always been left with this pain that I can't take painkillers for now, because any amount of paracetamol, I mean, we tried like kids Calpol, the doctor tried me with that and it'd be okay for a couple of days, and then this pain in my chest and my guts would start coming back, and it's just horrendous. So I had to try like braces and things for my hands because I've got like tendinitis and carpal tunnel and all these conditions that are a result of having joint hypermobility syndrome, which isn't nice. I've had to kind of change the job I was doing because I couldn't do that anymore. My hands started to seize up a lot, but right now I don't really want to talk about how much it affects me because I am not at a place yet where I feel like I can. I quite like to just pretend to be better than I am, I think, and I don't like to focus on the bad days because it really gets me down. There was it was a couple of weeks ago and I was in the dentist and I had forms to fill out, and I filled out like about 3 pages out of 6, and I had to take a break because I couldn't write anymore. And it's just awful, and I get really down and I feel really sorry for myself and things, and it's not a good place when I get there. I hope that it won't always be here and I can come on and speak to you guys more about it and explain and raise awareness, but for now I kind of just want to tell the story, my story, to do with this condition without going into too much about how it affects my life on a day-to-day basis. One way I do like to explain it though, and any other chronic mums out there or anybody watching this that has chronic illness has probably heard of this, it is the spoon theory. So the theory kind of goes that, say you have 5 spoons in a day. Now you can borrow spoons from tomorrow's lot of 5 spoons, but then if you use them up today, they won't be there to use tomorrow. And the theory kind of is that it maybe takes 1 spoon to get ready for that day. So to have a shower and wash your hair and dry your hair, that's 1 spoon used. It takes 1 spoon to do the washing. It takes 1 spoon to go and get your shopping done. And then if you want to maybe take the kids out for a big fun day, that'll maybe use 5 spoons. But you don't have that many in a day, so you have to borrow some from tomorrow. Which means come tomorrow, I will maybe only have 1 spoon left, which means I can't really do much tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll be in my jammies, having an easy, relaxed day, because a lot of people with chronic illnesses will find this. You can push yourself. You push yourself to get through the day, and then it really ends up impacting the rest of your week. So you might have 1 or 2 days in that week where you seem normal, but you suffer with it for those next 5 days. You'll maybe be in bed and not leave the house and be in your jammies because you're paying for those good days that you had out. And I think that's what makes it hard for other people to understand. People that don't have health conditions or people who aren't dealing with chronic pain, because they see you on your good day and they just think, well, they can do this and they can do that, so there's nothing wrong with them. But they're not seeing you on your worst day, or they're not seeing what you're paying for to have that good day out. And I think that kind of is my life now. And the boys have got used to it, and Derek's got used to it, and it just, in the words of Love Island, it is what it is. And the way I kind of manage it now, as I say, because I can't take painkillers, is I am trying to manage it through as much natural methods as I can. So I have completely changed my diet. I do specific exercises and stretching. I go and see a deep tissue massage therapist. I see a physio. I see an acupuncturist. And all of these are helping. They never take the pain away completely. It will never go away. It will continue to get worse. But it's about kind of managing it. And I remember, in fact, one physio said that. She says, we'll never be able to cure you. It's not something that can be cured, but we can do our best to help you manage your symptoms so that you can live as good a life as possible. So that's it for today. So, sorry, I feel like I kind of rushed through that a lot and said a lot, and yeah, it's a tough subject for me to talk about, but I hope by opening up I've give you a little insight into this condition, and if anybody else has it, maybe we could connect. I'm always happy to chat kind of one-on-one. If you want to know more about my diet or the exercises I do, or what I find benefits me more, or what a day-to-day or a week-to-week kind of looks like, and to do with like pain management and things, then yeah, comment below, let me know. If you would like more videos on it, maybe going into depth about any parts, again, just let me know and I will try my hardest to get it done. But I'm going to get off for the day now, so I hope you all have a lovely day. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.